Anita here, and welcome to week 11 of the 52 Weeks Illustration Challenge. The theme for this week was a mother, and I presume it's because of Mother's Day, which happens on so many different days around the world. The Mother's Day in Poland does not come till May, but I'm used to it by now. It's the same as with doing Christmas themes in the summer. It's just something you have to, get over once you're doing a challenge that's based in Australia. So as you can see, I'm doing something different this week. I've actually did not use a fine liner on this painting at all. I've been doing a lot of watercolor mixing past week, and that video is coming over next week in the next art chat, so stay tuned for that. And so I've been really obsessed with trying out new colors and new things, and I'm also having a little bit of an art block. And one of the ways I get over my art block is by just doing whatever I feel like. And because of the challenge and my work, I can't really do whatever I feel like. So the only thing I could do is to kind of change things a little bit in the way I'm painting. And so I've pre-mixed some colors and stretched my paper the way I did last week. So I just taped it onto my board and wet it and then dried it, and it's the stretching for lazy people again. And now I'm putting in some basic colors. So the idea I had for this painting is that a mother and daughter are going shopping, and so I wanted to do some of the bokeh effects, those kind of blurred lights in the background like they're in the city. Now, I wasn't sure how dark I wanted to go, and when thinking back on it, I should have gone much darker, or at least I could have done some negative painting. Now I know what it means. Thank you everyone who actually educated me on that, because sometimes, when you're talking like this, especially when I'm not scripting these videos, my mind just goes completely blank and I can't remember it, and then I just can't remember a certain term. I know it, but I just can't remember how to say it. So thank you very much for that you don't mind and that you're willing to help me a little bit. Every time someone gives me a tip or explain something to me, it actually sticks in my mind better, so I'm hoping that eventually I remember it. As you can see, I'm adding colors. I'm doing a lot of glazing in this painting, a lot. Basically, there is no shading involved almost. I'm just glazing flat colors over flat colors, and I'm just playing with color. That was the theme for this painting, playing with color. And I've mixed a lot of blues for the background. I had some favorites from the color mixing charts I've done, and I wanted to use those colors. And then I've mixed this kind of like maroon color, I suppose, with a little bit more of a brownish tint. And I used that one for those tiles I'm doing right now. And the reason for that is that I wanted to use a color combination that I don't normally use. If you look at my previous paintings, the few of them, most of them are just basic primary colors. So I'm using a lot of blue, red, yellow, and then just the usual mixes like green or orange. And I wasn't happy with that. I felt the need to expand my color spectrum. That's why I felt that using a little... I'm not using teal that much, even though it's one of my favorite colors. And especially teal with this brown mix, I don't think so, at least. I can't think of a painting I've used it before, so... That was one of the reasons. And I pre-mix all my colors in the palette, that I have the little flower palettes, and I keep them there for the whole painting process, so... I'm trying to work only with those colors. It's easier for me to kind of guide myself along the painting, I suppose. I don't wander in a different direction. And I'm starting to add those circles, those bokeh circles, I suppose you can call them. And at this point, I really wasn't sure what I was doing. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there. So it's really about experimenting, and in the end it came out really nicely, despite the art block, despite everything. Art block for me is not really at least that, they come in different, shapes and sizes, of course, but in this case, I overworked myself last week. I haven't done anything for myself, and that burns me out. It's very important to concentrate on work, of course, but it's also extremely important to have a lot of free time. Especially for me. That's because I work the best if I'm relaxed. If I stress, it doesn't work like that. That's why I didn't really stress over this painting. I wasn't really... Okay, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? It's something I paint for myself. Even though I kind of more think about it as painting it for you, so for you guys, not for myself. But let's assume this is for me. So I was thinking, okay, if it doesn't work the way I want it to be, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just a little experiment. I don't have a sketchbook really that I use like normally, as majority of people use every day. So for me, technically, this is a sketchbook. The challenge videos I make, that's my sketchbook, and I'm trying different things in my, quote-unquote sketchbook. And as you can see, I'm adding a lot of those transparent circles, kind of trying to build up that depth. And I've noticed that I wanted it to be a little bit darker. I wasn't really happy with how light everything was. This was supposed to be more of an evening scene. Since the theme is mother, of course, obviously, I was thinking about my relationship with my mom. And so this painting, it's not a portrait or anything like that. But of course, when I was painting it, I was thinking about a lot of things that I had in common with my mom. And even though I keep thinking that we are completely different, we are not. And that was the main idea for this painting, that the mother and daughter are somehow the same. They might be, different in some slight things. Like in this case, it's kind of symbolized by the clothes they're wearing, the different clothes. But in the end, they're similar. It's the same with my mother. My mom was... we're very similar in the way we approach certain ideas. But then, of course, we have our own differences that come with from living in different environments and being kind of different people. I'm artistic. My mom is very... not artistic. What's the opposite? I lost the word again. Let's put it this way. I like literature. My mom is more of a math person. That's the easiest way to explain it. But at the same time, there's plenty of things that we have in common that we've shared during the years. And so, and especially the clothes, I kind of did that subconsciously, but that's one of the things that we have different with my mom. My mom is very, very elegant, like extremely elegant. She goes for, those little suits with skirts and pencil skirts and very, very like ladylike, always having a nice coat, makeup, hair, everything. And then I refuse to wear anything that doesn't resemble a t-shirt. So, of course, that's exaggerating, of course, because, but my mom doesn't understand still why I'm wearing t-shirts, what I see interesting about printed t-shirts. So, and we used to go shopping a lot. That's something I don't do anymore, now that I live, on my own. And we only do it when she comes over to visit. We actually go shopping every time, or when I go to visit Poland. So, yeah, and I thought also this was one of those scenes that pretty much anyone can relate to. And that was important for me because, that's something relatable. Painting something relatable is fun. It's listening to people saying that, oh, I can see myself in that painting, or that's something I've done as well. It's fun. It's like a job well done. And now I'm building up a little bit of a color intensity. The way I usually paint is that I will put basic colors first, and if you're watching me for a longer time, you will know that, of course. And then I will come back afterwards and just build up the intensity of the color in the places I feel that it's necessary. So as I've put the background, and I felt that the ground was not groundy enough, and it was not grounding the characters. And also the bubbles, the bokeh on the tiles was kind of disappearing. And so I've added another layer of that maroon color, maroon brownish color. Yeah, it is a maroon color, it's just that for this particular piece I've added more brown than red. I keep attempting to do a little bit of the negative painting, but I don't really have much faith into it at this point. I really wasn't sure how to bring that darkness into the background without going into the negative painting. Now I'm overusing that word, seriously. Because I really didn't want to go like into the very details. I wanted to be very loose painting, very enjoyable, and I felt that going too much into the little details and crevices between the bubbles, that would be way too much. So here for the hair, of course it's red because, at least it's not orange. So let's be happy that I went for something different. This is actually the same maroon color that I used for the ground. It's just once again has a little bit more red in it. Oh my god, I really love color mixing right now. And as you can see, I'm not doing it on the camera, but I'm actually adding very gentle lines. I'm starting to build them up with watercolor. I didn't use fine liner in this painting. I've just used watercolor to outline my paintings, and I have to say I really liked it. It wasn't easy to actually start painting with the watercolor, making lines with watercolor, because I'm so used to the stiffness of the of the fine liner. So my lines were very wonky and my hand was shaking, but it's just a matter of being used to it. So I will work on it because I really like how it turned out. And as you can see, I'm not adding any shading, I'm just putting flat colors. And that is something I really like as well. It's not like I'm doing a lot of shading to begin with. But in this particular case, I really liked those flats. They weren't that flat, they were still very rich. I don't know how to explain that, but I really liked that effect. And I slowed down this part a little bit for you to see more clearly what I was doing. And we're adding another glaze. This time it's a blue one. I just kept adding whatever I felt was... It's very hard to explain to me because I do it a lot of things instinctively. Is that a word again? I'm doing a lot of these things just on instinct, so I feel like this color would need a little bit more blue or to fit in with the background. I think that was my reasoning at that point. Because it's supposed to be a scene, I didn't want the characters to feel like they're pasted on top of the paper. And here you can see more clearly that I'm adding the lines in between shots because it was really boring to watch. I actually had the footage, but it was really boring to watch, so I was like, nah, you know what, just whatever. I'm just gonna cut it out. And another layer for the hair. This time it's much redder, of the same red that I used for the maroon color, just to kind of boost up the vibrancy, I suppose you can call it like this. As you can see, it's a very very sketchy, wonky lines. So for the sweater and for the clothes in general, I've used the same color that I used in the background, and as you've probably noticed, it's a repeating pattern. I often have like 2 or 3 colors that I will just mix and repeat through the whole painting. I might add different, I call them neutrals, like browns or grays, to kind of like expand the palette, but I don't mix them with the actual colors, the main colors. They're just for extra boost, like I've used later on a brown for the bags. Here, actually. Just to add a little extra, something different, so that it's not all very, because when you use too many of the same color, it becomes too muddy, at least in my painting, with so many different things I slap on top, the different layers. So it's actually, that's why I add just 1 or 2 of those neutrals. And when you top it off with white, it just kind of like brings everything nicely together. It gives it a nice pop. And then to kind of build up the shading a little bit, I wasn't very interested in shading at all. I'm not interested in shading to begin with. I feel that my paintings are so detailed with the lines that actually they don't need the shading. That's only my personal opinion. You know, there's nothing wrong with shading. I absolutely drool over some of the paintings that I see with perfectly shaded, characters. But that's not something that I do, so I'm adding just minimal thing like here to kind of emphasize the skirt, the tush, the butt, and just a little bit on the sweater. But it kind of helps us, like it's more serving the purpose of blending in the lines, rather than actually doing anything for the character, for the shading, for the silhouette itself. So this is just really minimal. I might actually try to skip it completely in my other painting, like my future paintings, just to see how that goes. Because I have a feeling that the only reason why I'm doing shading is because I feel that it's something required for painting. So I might actually skip it altogether just to see how it goes. It's really good to just try something new once in a while, just to freshen up your technique, I suppose. It's okay to do whatever like you'd keep doing once you're a very experienced artist, I suppose. But when you're new to this, like I am, experimenting is crucial to my growth. So that's how I see it. So I'm adding a little bit of pattern on those bags, once again for the added detail. Normally I would probably detail the clothes a little bit more, but because I loved the color so much, I didn't want to touch it at all. And so I've decided that the extra detail would go into the ground, into the tiles and the bags. And so the bags got a little bit of a pattern, and I've used the same brown for the eye outlines and the pattern on the small bags, and then the maroon color for the big bag. Once again, to tie everything together. And it's a very watered down, it's just nothing really fancy, it's just watered down paint, some stripes, some dots, and really, but it adds this little something extra that I really love. And here I'm already done with all of the details. As you can see, I've painted in the stockings and the leggings on both of the girls. And I'm adding, I'm actually using my gouache and the paintbrush. I promised myself not to use a fine liner or a gel pen, it's the same thing. And before you say anything for me, it's just the same thing for me. Ugh, it's just the rules. So I'm actually using my paintbrush, and that was really, really, really wonky. I'm so used to the stiffness of the pen, that it's so easy to control, that it was really hard for me to control the very wibbly nibbly small brush, but I managed eventually. And now I'm adding a little bit of the white bubbles to the bouquet, just to kind of show that there's something in the front, once again to kind of put the characters in the scene instead of having them pasted on top of the scene. So that's something that was really important to me, because in the past I actually have done that a lot, where I just had them pasted randomly on top of a background, and I don't like that. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I hope you like the illustration, and I hope you don't have to deal with art blocks on a daily basis. If you would like to see this illustration in a little bit more detail, then you can go to my Facebook page or the 52 Weeks Illustration Facebook group. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit that like button, that helps me a lot. And subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos. I do them twice a week now. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!